Now I'm rolling up. So there it is, guys. My shining city on the hill. The 2025 Bachelor Creek Expedition. Last year, this is the same spot we were last year, but we kind of got rained out. Spent a whole 6 days up here, but it was plain awful. Didn't get much mining done. So we're out here, and this is actually the end of the first day. I don't think we got here till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Stayed up and had a few beers and went to bed about the time the sun was coming up. We didn't get much done today. We kind of got the camp put together a little bit, good enough so I can cook, and we'll put the dredge together and did a little prospecting. Did a couple pans, just scouting out new areas, even though I'm pretty sure I know where I want to dredge. I'm finding more places that I want to dredge, and I'm going to be here for a while, and that's what we're going to do. I will keep you updated. We'll try to give you an update every day I'm out here, which should be the rest of the month of July, a good 3 to 4 weeks. So here I am at camp, guys. We got down to the creek today to do a little bit of mining, and I got down there without any gas for my dredge. So I had to run back really quick, get gas so I can start doing some production work, hopefully. Just wanted to have a look around camp real quick here. The lean-to we made last year actually survived. We just had to tighten it up, and there it is. Friends, we're camping, but we can't have a campfire because remember last year we were pretty much rained out. I mean, wet, miserable. We weren't prepared. This year we came prepared for wet or warm, and it's pretty dry out here. We got a hot, dry wind blowing. God dang, and I got a smoke plume that way. Wind's blowing right directly this way. That concerns me a little bit. I'd been watching a smoke plume over that direction. Of course, with the wind blowing that way, I wasn't really worried about that. Worried or not, we're probably just gonna ride it out and do some mining. And let's go do it, okay? Well, good morning, everybody. This is day 3 of my Bachelor Creek gold prospecting expedition. It's a little cloudy this morning. I think we're finally going to get some rain. And I don't know. It did this last year. I kind of recognize the look of the clouds whipping over the ridge. A little smell of rain in the air. It's not here yet. This is the White Mountains, so we're probably gonna get dumped on. The last couple days we had like some late afternoon, evening thunderstorms. You could hear the lightning and maybe a spit or two, like a few drops of rain, but nothing ever came of it. And I wasn't liking the looks of that plume of smoke up at the head of the canyon, because if that wind whipped it down that canyon, it probably wouldn't be anything nice. So I was a little worried, but I think with a little rain we'll probably be just fine. And we like to be able to have a campfire. A campfire. It's atmosphere for camp, and not only that, it's good for cooking and incinerating trash. We don't like having a bunch of trash build up because we're in bear country. So most of the leftovers and everything I feed to the dogs, and that's one thing they're good for. And that way there's no no food left over to attract bears. So that's the thing. I found a little gold yesterday. I really should have taken a picture of it, but I got my panning technique's getting better, and the little gold I found was I was actually surprised to get that much, because basically I was just cleaning out cobbles and float from last year, trying to get back to the hole where I left it last year, because it just all filled in over the winter, and that's not surprising. Well, hopefully I'll get down there today and get that shelf cleaned out, and then be able to start tearing apart some slate, get in the cracks there and see what I find. Well, that's what's going on. I don't want to yammer. Okay, guys, so this is day 4, and finally got the wetsuit on. That's an ordeal to get into this wetsuit, I'll tell you. And so I did as much as I could without the wetsuit, but yesterday I was getting down deep enough, I needed it. Then we got the rain overnight. We don't have to worry about forest fires anymore. We got dumped on. River's up a good foot. It almost looks like a river now. It's actually a creek. But well, my thing is, you know, I move slow, and I know it. I'm getting older and I'm slowing down, and you know, if I was really trying to make a living at this, I'd be up a lot earlier and spend a lot more hours down here, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for the joy of being out here with my son. There's the treasure right there. I'm getting older, slowing down, you know, shit's falling apart, joints are getting creaky, and I don't think I'm going to make it to a retirement, so I decided I'm going to take my retirement now while I still got some in me, so I can do this. Okay, guys, day 5 of this little mining expedition. Thanks for stopping by to have coffee with me. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm doing most of my recording right here in the tent, because it's been pretty busy and I don't really have time to stop and record, so we just get to spend time having coffee. I found a quartz vein in my little diggings, and I'm pretty excited about that. So far we've just got a little bit of color. That's 2 cleanouts. I've got 1 more cleanout to do. We're going to run back to town and get some supplies. We've been here a few days and been working it, and a few extra things we need, and that was always part of the plan, because I got to do my banking, get the bills paid, so I can get back up here for the rest of the month. But I'm excited about that quartz vein, and what I feel like, usually as someone who has a full-time job during the summer, and I'm lucky to get a long weekend, or, you know, last year, Lord forbid, I took a week off. This is about the point where I've done all the prep work and cleaned out the hole and found my seam, coming up with a plan, you know, and it's over for the year. This year's different. After 25 years of pretty much doing the same thing for the same people, I decided I'm getting too old and I gotta get out. I came to Alaska to do some gold mining, prospecting, and never really done it. I'm pretty much a Chaku out here, just learning as I go along, and so we're just learning together, because I'm no authority. I'm just someone who is out here doing it, trying to figure it out. One thing, I think I lost a little bit of my gold after final clean out. Little tip for you. Where's my pan? Well, anyway, we'll demonstrate these things. So you've gone to all the work. You got your gold, and you've done your first panning, and then you come up here where it's warm and dry, and you do your finish panning and get that gold separated from the black sand, and you suck it out with your little sucker, right? So what you got to do, first thing, tip that back up after you've sucked the gold out. Make sure it falls down into the bottom. And then run a little water back and forth like this. Make sure that's good and rinsed out. I did not do that last night. I feel like what was in the pan was more than what I actually got in the vial, because I've sucked it out like this, lifted it up like it's an ink pen, and held it like this, and then realized, oh, that's a dumbass move. Well, there's your little panning tip for today. We'll see you in a couple days after we get back out here. Good morning, friends. This is beginning of the second week. It's Sunday again. Lost 3 days. Let's see, a day out, a day in town, and a day back. I'm by myself now, and obviously I made too much to eat for breakfast, and I don't have a dog to eat my leftovers, so that's concerning. I don't want a lot of food waste in camp. That's something I'm going to have to work on. I'm used to cooking for people. Okay, so wow, I got breakfast done. Had a lot of leftovers, so I put them down in my mess kit. I'll haul them down to the diggings with me, and I'll have a little snack, biscuits and bacon later. As much as I want to get down there, I start digging for gold. I got some, camp stuff to do. About my taters, onions, carrots. I love my taters and onions. Put them down here, just set them beside the creek so they stay cool. They don't have to be melting my ice in the ice box. I don't need them that cold. I just need to keep them cool. And over here, I love my beer too. So I bought me a couple weeks worth of beer, I hope, unless somebody shows up to drink it all. But for me, I just put my beer up there in the shade, set the rest of it down there in a little bag, keep it cold. That way when I throw it in the ice box, it's not going to melt my ice. I didn't know what to do with this extra little bit of, I should have maybe cooked it up. This extra little bit of dough. I don't have a dog to feed it to, and I can't use a fire because it's fire season. So I'm gonna wash it out here down to nothing and turn it loose in the creek. And that way it won't be attracting no critters, bears or foxes or little squirrels. I don't want those guys in my tent. All right, it's time to get ready to go down and do to the diggings and look for some gold, okay? Well, let's talk about trail maintenance. When you're going to come this far out, it's really important to have your machines in tip-top shape. But if you wait till everything's in tip-top shape, you might never get here. I know that I lost my front diff. The bracket that holds it on was flopping around, so I disconnected the circuit, and I still got two-wheel drive. Not that worried about it. Don't have any problems getting in here in two-wheel drive in this machine. But I noticed some bumps, some thunking noises from under the front end coming over the trail last night. When I went to check it this morning, that whole diff was just flopping in there. I've got it secured now with good old-fashioned tie wire. If you're going out on the trail, you can't go wrong by throwing in a roll of tie wire. You'll thank yourself. Hey guys, I like clean laundry. I know everybody does. In town, we take it for granted. We can just throw that in a machine. I mean, if we're really hard up, we might have to go to laundromat. But laundry is not something we have to worry about too much. But when you get out here in the wilderness, if you want some clean socks, and they're all gross and sticky, you want something like this. Because just swishing them around in some dishwater and rinsing them out in the creek ain't going to do the trick. You got to have something to scrub with. I get stuff like that at Sampson's Hardware in Fairbanks, Alaska. I love those folks down there. go check them out. Meet Kimmy out here. What is this? Day 9, I think. Yeah, I went to town for a couple of days, but I figure I lost like 5 days of production time. That's a day out, 2 days in town, a day back, another day to set up. Yesterday I got about 3 hours of production. Today I've been running 3 hours, and I know what you've been saying, because it's all been in camp, right? Campcraft. Split my time between the campcraft and the mining. I didn't get out here till noon today just because there's shit to do in camp, and I'm out here by myself. I got to do it all. But anyway, it's kind of raining and then a little sunshine and rain, and it might be mostly rain now. I don't know. Doesn't matter. They're all wet anyway. Well, here's my little setup. Let's get to the mining part, because that's what it's all about. It just looks like a creek, right? And but you know, the bones of the mountain are pretty bare, and the bedrock's right there. I wanted to try something here and see if it works. Yeah. That's the bedrock. And it goes down there, you know. Most of this is gravels that have filled in since last year. I did a pretty good job on this. But then I can break apart those seams, those cracks. And there's gold in there. There really is. I go over here, there's cobbles I have to clear away. And polish it because it's pretty deep. I mean, for me, I'm working with a snorkel. Well, a 2-inch dredge, you know, and honestly, you don't get a lot done with a 2-inch dredge. You can't move a whole lot of material. But there's my bedrock. And just experimenting with the camera. We're going to start tearing some of that apart. I think the hole's almost big enough. But I've been consistently getting 15 to 20 flakes. I know it ain't great, but considering... Well, hey friends, thanks for stopping by. Have a cup of coffee with me. It's fresh ground, French pressed, strong black coffee. I'm kind of lingering over my coffee today. It's pretty blustery out, and I'm not in any hurry to get down the creek, get all wet. I think I'll stay in camp most of the day and do some campcraft, because you know you got to. And might go up and down the creek here and do some prospect and take some test pans. I'm not super happy with what I've been getting out of that hole. I mean, it's gold, it's consistent, and it's showing every time, but it's going to take a long time to get that machine to pay for itself if I keep going that way. Well, a little disappointed, but I think that's part of it. You know, you get your ups and your downs. I think I missed my seam, the deepest seam that I dug last year, and I've been clearing out one seam up. You know, you kind of got to work it in a V, and I'm still on the side of the V. I'm not in the deepest part, and I have to reset the dredge, and unfortunately I'm going to have to go through my tailings, but that might be a good thing too. They say dredge out your tailings is a good idea. You know, I'm not sure about the recovery values of my machine or of my panning. I'm not really sure about anything today, so we're just gonna sit back, drink some coffee,
think about a new plan.
Well, hey friends, honestly I don't think I make a very good miner. I didn't make it down to the creek at all yesterday, but I had lots to do. Every little thing you do is something you do, whether you're camping or not. But if you did the dishes and made breakfast, that's something you do. If you rearrange the fire pit so it's more reflective and keeps the heat back into the lean-to, that's something you do. Last year we suffered because we had the wrong fire pit and we burned up a lot of wood and never got warm. And that is where this lean-to shelter came from. We kind of cobbled it together, and by golly, it made it. It's still here. We had to stand it up and tighten it up. But when I first pulled up down the creek down there, I saw this lean-to up here, and I thought someone had already beaten me to my camping spot. Last year we didn't have the wall tent, and that's been a really great addition because no matter how hard it rains, you don't get wet in there. And also this little Walmart tent, Glacier's Edge thing, and it looks pretty chintzy and flimsy, but it actually saved our lives last year. There was 3 of us out here. We weren't geared up for wet and cold. We got wet, and the only dry place was that tent, and that's how we got by. I would say that tent saved our lives. Because once you get wet, you're kind of toast. Another thing I did yesterday, as I started this little project, and I hope I don't have to explain to you what that is or why it's important, but definitely makes my life easier out here. I did a little prospecting down the creek. I saw something exciting. I think exciting. Hold on while we go down here. It's a little treacherous, but you can see this, a big old tailings pile. See, that's where I'm camped, is on top of a big tailings pile from way back in the day. And so, a lot of these big rocks just rolled down into the creek, this little creek here, and so I don't get excited about tailings. I'm actually looking for signs of the native rock that's in these creeks, the bedrock, and so my first assumption down here is that all these big rocks just rolled down off the tailings pile. And so this just right down here, I think I showed you this the other day, my cooler. And but I was just looking at right here. And that rock and that rock kind of look rounded out. They kind of look like they go together, although the wear pattern is a little bit different. But then over here, I don't know if you can see that. That is rounded. So what I'm seeing, I could be wrong, but what I'm seeing is a pothole from an old waterfall, like maybe a long, long time ago, like way long time ago. I could be wrong, and maybe I could go back to town and look up Jeff Williams online or some geologist, miner like that, and have them tell me if what I found is a pothole or if it just is a strange coincidence the way the tailings fell in here. But I could just dig it out myself and see what's down there. That might be an old waterfall and it might have gold in it. I don't know. The only way to find out is to dig it out. Well, hey friends, it's Monday, July 21st, 2025. Haven't journaled for a few days here. Just thought I'd catch you up. We did go up and take some test pans further downstream, closer to camp. And I really like the looks of that area, but I really didn't show any color in the test pan, so I decided to stay in my little hole and work it a little deeper, and it's still showing me color. So this is where we're at. We're packing up right now. We're gonna make a run to town. I was really lonely out here. There were another couple camps. I spoke to another couple prospectors, and I thought we'd have our summer camp. I went to go visiting, and everybody had bugged out, and it turns out it was just me up here. I was starting to feel pretty lonely, and then Colt showed up, and apparently after a couple years out here where all he did was build dams for me, he got the go bug. He ended up with making himself a little high banker, and he got his first pan with some real color the other night. And just seeing his face at that moment, I knew he had the go bug. We're supposed to be going, but he just can't stand the idea without running a little more material through his sluice box. So, well, I'll talk to you after we come back for this supply run, or at least I will. Actually, what I wanted to say about prospecting in the 21st century is prospectors are not using donkeys and mules anymore. The side-by-side is our mule, and the 4x4 is our donkey. And some people used horses, of course. I would say that's your four-wheel drives, but that's not really common. You need something just a little more sure-footed. You can get back here with a four-wheel drive, but it ain't good for them. Caribou again. Oh, they got out of the trail. I'm trying not to disturb them too much. But they're up here. This is a better view. This little saddle right here, boy, they knock them out right here during hunting season, but it ain't hunting season yet. I'm gonna leave them alone. That's the way it gets up here, a little wet. We're in the clouds almost. And I tried to point this out earlier, but that wasn't close enough. That little saddle right there, that's kind of like the Continental Divide. Oh, these are the White Mountains. So what it says is everything that flows this way goes into the Chattanooga, and everything that flows that way goes into the Yukon. I mean, we're about as close as you can get to the Arctic Circle without actually being in the Arctic Circle, but we're pretty far north and we're pretty far from anywhere. That's what I got to say about that. Okay, friends, that's my goal for the last 3 days, which is more than I got in the previous 3 weeks. But maybe I can show you over here. I had to remove a lot of overburden and cobbles that of course fill in every year. I got this seam, let's see, this one right here. I opened that one up last year and I got a little bit of chunky out of it. Weather wasn't real good and I was not geared up right, so it was kind of a disappointing year. But I missed it. It was high water. So I started on this seam that runs straight into that waterfall, and I thought that was the seam, but after getting down to bedrock, I was finding it. I was finding gold, but not the chunky stuff that I had gotten a year before. And this is my pile of tailings. It's the bedrock I've torn up. But this is the pay streak right here. And you can see there's another, that seam goes to the other side of the creek. And so that's what I want to do, is follow that up. But it's not all good news. Also, I was actually clearing this spot out. My dredge has been working really good there, but I'm kind of at maximum length of my hose. I'm gonna have to move it up. As I was clearing out this area, I came on some old mining sledge, and I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think it's anything good. And the thing that concerned me is I've been pulling my camp water right out of there with this big old slug of industrial waste of some kind. Because you got to understand, this was all mined, and there's evidence there of some old piping from the big mine, and there's a sluice box up there, the big one that they left out here. And you wouldn't think, well, from 80 years ago, it's not gonna be any problem. My thing always, as a woodsman, I worked, in Oregon as a young man, doing stuff for Forest Service and logging and that sort of thing. Clear running streams is always a good source of water, but I'm rethinking that. I think there's a caveat, except in mining districts. So today, instead of jumping right back in the water, I got to go cut some more wood, and there's some springs downstream, and I'm going to start drawing my water from there, because after seeing that, my coffee tastes funny in the morning. So here we have evidence of an old camp. Someone obviously spent some time and enjoyed themselves out here. Probably hand prospecting, kind of like myself. There's that chair over there, not of too ancient of a design, so I'd say it sometime within the last 20 years or so. Nice woodsy little area. Almost makes me jealous. I didn't find it first. But there's also over here, must have been like a Grizzly Adams sort of thing. I got a bear track over here that's not real fresh, but still. Oh, I got the moose track. Who's further back over here. Evidence of a little hand mining operation. It's a dry creek bed now. Probably just for spring runoff. Now, where were you, old Ben? Oh, the Ben's track was right there. That's evidence that the bear had been here. I don't remember seeing that track last time I was down here. I didn't stop last week, but the week before we kind of checked it out. This, I think, will be a good water source over here. This is a spring-fed runner. I can fill my jugs there with less likelihood of, toxic industrial waste being in there. I can deal with bacterial, neutralize them by boiling water, but I can't do anything about that sludge. First nice day we've had in a while, a few days. I was working in that strong current. Got out to take a break, and look, I've got company. The caribou are here. Oh, did I miss him? There's more. First one came right up here and looked at me, then he came down from up there. Oh, doggone it, there was a cute little one. Let's see here if we can catch him. Walking nuts. They can disappear quick. They don't seem all that concerned about me being out here. Well, I was wondering if they came down this low. I figured they did. So anyway, yeah, I was getting some good color. I really just couldn't get in the water. You get cold and there's no way to warm up. And we got a little sun today. See, I made myself a windbreak. See, the water doesn't bother me that much. But man, when I get out and I'm cold and the wind hits me, that's when I get really cold. Yeah, so I set up this little windbreak. Right now we have no wind. Thank goodness. Here's my tailings pile. That represents most everything I've taken out of that hole there. And even though the sun came out, the creek is still pretty high, and that's a pretty strong current I'm working in, so I might move over here and look more towards the bank. But geez, looks like it's turned into a regular mining operation. Colt 45 comes out on the weekends, and we even had young Sheldon here last weekend. They've been playing around with this little high banker. I'm sure he'll come up with a better design. He always does, but considering he's only got $350 in that, and I've got, between the dreads and the wetsuit by themselves, that's $3,500. So he's probably, even though I'm getting more gold, he's still money ahead of me. Got 42 colors last night in 2 hours, and I'm just trying to take it easy, not get myself too close to that hypothermic stage where I can't develop any body heat. And doggone, that's why I'd like to, when the first couple weeks out here, I like to keep the camera on in case something like that happened. But then I found it just used too much battery and I can't recharge it fast enough. I mean, I can, but if I leave the side-by-side running to charge batteries, it attracts bugs. And I don't like the bugs, so I just been leaving the phone off. And I really missed a great opportunity. There's about a good dozen of them just across the creek up there. One of them came right here on the bank and said hello to me. And it took me that long to get the camera and get it booted up. Sorry about that. There they are, back there. Another bunch of them come through. See, I didn't fib to you about that. There they go. They'll probably be coming and going all day. Okay, so here we are. We cleaned up the diggings here. We're getting ready to bug out. We're gonna go up to camp and have a little lunch, and as a kind of a thing, we're gonna have a jug race.
Yep,
Let's see which jug makes it back down to the other end quicker.
You want to place any bets?
It's not a betting establishment.
Oh, really?
I'd bet you a beer, but I don't have one.
Bragging rights, then.
All right.
Alright. Well, make sure we get a fair start.
Who's buying? All right, who's buying when we get to the Chattanooga Lodge?
Oh, okay.
You win, I buy. I win, you buy.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Right. The big tape and the little tape.
Here we go. The 2025 Bachelor Creek Jug Race.
Prefer which side, left or right?
I don't care.
All right.
Drop them in. Let's see what happens. Pretty good current. I hope we can beat them down there.
2, 1, go!
All right, there they go. Well, we better get going, man. They're gonna beat us.
Gotta go!
Okay, we're coming to the finish line. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dang it, I'm gonna have to get my feet wet. Fuck! I got the little one. The little one. The little one. Yeah, I was gonna buy dinner anyway. I don't think that was fair. It would. Well, this is it, doggone it. We're breaking camp. We've torn down the mining operation. We're hauling our stuff out. And this is kind of the end of the season for us. Of course, now that the sun came out, it's all beautiful now that we're leaving. Of course, we have to be back to break the rest of the camp, get the cook tent down, the bunk tent. And that'll probably take another couple trips. For me anyway, I know the young man has work to do. So I'll be back, but the gold mining is over, sadly. I found some gold, I really did, and I'm happy with it. It's sure not enough to pay me back for my investment of getting here, but the real treasure is in the better health. I feel more alive, more vibrant after being out here for a summer, a short summer. July is summer, and then August it might be like this, or it might be nasty and rainy. We just don't know. So I thought it best to start getting camp out. But the real treasure is in just time spent with family and getting my bearings.